My cat is trying to decide whether or not he is able to jump up onto this little stand here, and it's more adorable than anything else I could do in the intro. So, good job, Mr. Baby Popo. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here, along with Poe, for another Legacy video. And we'll see whether or not I need to stop if Poe starts trying to get onto that middle shelf there. There's some breakable stuff up there, but he's not doing crimes as of right now, so it's fine. Anyway, today we are going to be playing with a Sultai or Bug Death Shadow deck list, and this comes to us from Large John. I've made some changes to this one from the original list that was submitted. The big change that I did was move Sylvan Library into the sideboard. Current Legacy is fast, and we want all of our cards to have an immediate impact on the game as frequently as possible. And if you look at this, I have 2 columns full of 1-drops here over on the left-hand side. That's kind of where my head is at in terms of Legacy right now. So the most interesting thing about this deck is probably that we are playing main deck Reanimate without something broken attached to it. There's no Troll here. There's no Entombs here. These are just to bring back our highly efficient creatures if they are countered initially. The original lists had some Street Wraiths in there, which can be a Reanimate target. I'm not all that impressed with Street Wraith stats in the current metagame. I don't know that it's unfair enough. But I think playing a couple of Reanimates to bring back your 12, or I guess it's 11 early game creatures seems pretty reasonable to me. We're on pretty efficient removal here with 3 copies of Fatal Push, but the green is giving us Abrupt Decay. This is just a hard no to a lot of the other early game cards that can be happening in the format as of right now. And we are incredibly interactive because the format is very combo heavy as of right now, with Thoughtseizes, Daze, and Force of Wills, as well as a few more counter spells out of the sideboard. Speaking of the sideboard, we're going to do some pretty typical Legacy things, where we're going to have a few mid-range cards that we can bring in when, say, our counter spells aren't at their best and we're playing a fairer game, and our obligatory 4x Leyline, because Oops All Spells is just absolutely everywhere in the format as of right now. So let's see how this plays out here, folks. If you need some magic cards, say, I don't know, to pick some random examples, any of the absolutely insane cards that are coming from Tarkey or Dragonstorm, please consider checking out my sponsor, toamagic.com. At any given time, they tend to have about 95% of the standard legal things in stock. So when you're looking to get your new cards to play broken things in Legacy, they'll probably have it for you. And promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on that order, and you're going to get free shipping. So let's battle. We might be replaying this exact Watery Grave a large number of times with this hand. Hand is okay. There's some question as to which one of these I play first. I think I play Tamiyo first. Accruing those clues is a pretty big deal, I think. The hand's not perfect. Ignoring the Reanimate in the short term here. You need a second land to start popping off, and 1 Ponder or Brainstorm to start growing this is a pretty big deal. All right, Tamiyo sat on the stack for a while and then resolved. I don't know if that means my opponent has a counterspell and then just didn't do it, or if they were just getting ready to play and weren't quite ready yet. I can Fatal Push or I can counter. I think I'm just going to counter since I don't have my next land drop anyway. We're playing against a Tropical Island Green Sun deck. I got absolutely wrecked by Natural Order off of Teferi the other day. So I got some trauma from that still. Ooh, I don't mind that. You're a 1/2. You're going to keep getting bigger. Let's get that Delver in there. And technically speaking, I should probably attack first, although I don't think it matters in this specific instance. So more realistically, my opponent's probably going to be like some sort of Nadu deck here. Nope, absolutely not. No fun for you. Fun denied. All right, Delver, blind flip for me, buddy. Island, I will not reveal that card. Ouchies. Spend it. 19. I could reanimate a bird here and get my second mana, but I have island, so I don't think I have to do that. Just as a refresher, Nethergoyf does count my graveyard specifically, and I only have instants in there as of right now. That is fine. That's all my opponent's got, though. Force of Will. Yes, I will reveal that. Do I want to Fatal Push this? Sure. It denies a mana, one way or another. Either by having my opponent sacrifice a land, or by... Wow, they sacked Tropical Island to save it. Okay. Opponent is down to 15. I don't have Force of Will active immediately. Hierarchy is fine. Oh, opponent's going to attack me back. Yeah, absolutely. There is a Brainstorm. So my Force of Will is now live, which is really good for the things like Natural Order that could swing this game hard back in the other direction. I could Brainstorm and flip Tamiyo here. I don't know if that's better than just drawing another card. A fetch land, for example, throws this immediately. And if I find another blue card, I can just potentially even keep Brainstorm to flip Tamiyo in a minute. I could also just, like, not keep a Brainstorm. Nomads in Core. If I counter this, it denies a mana off Gaia's Cradle. I think I'm going to let it resolve. That is fine. I think that's even fine. Edge Maze, yep. The thing that I want to be able to counter here is Nadu or Chord of Calling or Green Sun. Anything that puts the Nadu in play, I think, is what I am going after. Alright, so I get cracked back for a little bit here. There's another Goyf. They're not super great as of right now. I think with multiple counter spells, that doesn't matter that much. I think a next clue doesn't matter for Tamiyo. I think I'm going to Brainstorm and reevaluate this hand and just flip Tamiyo, and then there's a decent chance that this ends up bigger pre-combat. Double Force of Will is kind of sweet. Yeah, double Force of Will is kind of sweet. So this will be a 2-3 once I fetch. We'll just go ahead and plus with Tamiyo. That's a great distraction for the little creatures over here. Then send it. Opponent doesn't block, so I will fetch. I guess green could matter. I'll pick up a Trop, deal my opponent 5, bring them to 6, pass the turn. And assuming no Cavern of Souls style nonsense, I am probably good to kill next turn. That's fine. Yeah, it's Chord of Calling time. Oddly, it's a Chord of Calling for X equals 1. I don't quite understand that. It might be some sort of delighted halfling thing. Oh, my opponent in chat has put question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I think they messed up. In case this is bait and this is going to get some sort of, not delighted halfling, the other, the elf that makes stuff uncounterable. I don't just want to eat that into Natural Order and die. Okay, my opponent messed up there in some capacity. I don't quite understand their message that they sent. Alright, so we're playing against Nadu. Bowmasters for the little dorks sounds fine. Abrupt Decay for the little dorks and the bigger dorks sounds fine. And then there's a question of, like, how mid-rangey am I playing versus them versus how much am I respecting them as a combo deck. The Force of Negation is a little weird because sometimes they're going to cast Chord of Calling on my turn. I think Nethergoyf had a bad showing there. It did not attack for very much damage. I just kind of had only instants that game. I think I'm going to trim my reanimates for these 3 cards, and then I'm going to think about these 6. I'm trimming the reanimates because my opponent is not too likely to kill my stuff. And thinking about these cards that I threw into the sideboard, or maybe they were there already, there is some negative synergy with Death Shadow. Hopefully that doesn't come up. I'm like definitely the control deck, which makes me think that Sylvan Library is not a crazy thing to do. I could get rid of my Dazes on the draw. This is fine. The double basics is a little weird, though. It makes some of the Brainstorm Daze setup stuff slightly more awkward than it otherwise might be. So, I think since my opponent is a confirmed Cradle deck, I just take this out immediately. A Nadu can't come down this turn if I take this line. And then hopefully between Thoughtseize and Daze, I follow up okay from there. Nomads is happening. I think I Thoughtseize before doing anything else. There's no island here. I don't need to worry about Daze. What if my opponent has Veil of Summer? I would want to Daze that, I guess. Okay, I will make my land drop then. Chord of Calling and Swords to Plowshares. I will take Chord of Calling. My opponent's hand is doing nothing in the short term. I kind of want to find a threat. Let's just shuffle that. Oh, that's a threat. I'll fetch, and then that's a 3/4, and that's like perfectly respectable. That will trade with Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, that's fine. So Swords is my opponent's one unknown card. You can get your chip damage in at me. Death's Shadow. Swords obviously good against that. I am just going to play a Deuter, let it eat Swords to Plowshares, and then if my opponent does something scary, I Brainstorm in response. Yeah. My opponent's just using that to get a bonus mana here. So they can play Nadu around this Daze that I have. Okay. Those are all creatures. That's rough. So my opponent gets 6 Nadu activations on their turn, 6 Nadu activations on my turn. I'm dead. It doesn't literally kill me right now, but that beats me. Do I not want to Death Shadow if my opponent is Swords to Plowshares? Like, do I just do this? Death Shadows were not looking good there. Okay. And what's the last card? Maybe a Force of Negation? Force of Negation doesn't counter Nadu. Library? Library's okay. I absolutely did not realize until this moment that this was a double basic island deck. I would have taken out one of those basic islands if I noticed that because of this exact problem right here. Oh well. Well, there's no Bayou, right? Yeah. I guess we're gonna Watery Grave. I'll throw this down and pass. This is a little awkward because, like, to get this black mana immediately to cast my aggressive threat, I'm making my Brainstorm fetch worse. My Abrupt Decay is not necessarily castable either. Oh, this is awkward. Bringheart and Nantucko. Yeah, this doesn't cast Abrupt Decay. I think I'm going to Brainstorm here. If nothing else, it grows my Goyf. I would really like to find a fetch land and smooth out this hand. Yes, absolutely. So island goes back. I'll have the ability to fetch, which I don't need to take now. I will get in there for 2. And then I can pick up green mana for Abrupt Decay to kill just about whatever my opponent plays this turn. Yeah, that can just resolve. And same with that. Now that there's 2 mana dorks in play, I don't know that I aggressively attack them here. Oh, also, I didn't need to get Watery Grave. I took out the Death Shadows. They don't know that. Surveil Land? I need the green. I can have double Force of Will if I don't cast these cards, but if I cast Ponder, I put a sorcery into my graveyard to grow this further. I think I will accordingly cast a Ponder. This is fine. I'm going to cast this Thoughtseize this turn and just have 1 Force of Will available. Ouchie. Cast. Those are respectable cards. 1, 2, 3 cards that I need to answer. I can answer all of them. The Sylvan Safekeeper is a little annoying. My opponent has 5 mana, so they can Springheart and Curator and Safekeeper all in the same turn. The repeated chump blockers is probably the biggest issue. But Keen-Eyed Curator becoming a 7/7, not the best for my Nethergoyf-based aggro start either. Wow, maybe I need to take the Safekeeper so that I can Abrupt Decay one of these 2 cards. Awkward. I think I'm just a little too worried about my opponent playing too many cards at the same time and overwhelming me. So there's the Keen-Eyed Curator. I get to Force of Will one of these 2 cards. If my opponent resolves this and starts eating my graveyard, it's kind of annoying. I think I Force of Will here. Oh, my opponent made their land drop before doing this. Yep. I guess it plays around Daze. So I have Force of Will, Pitch Tameo for Chord of Calling, and I have Abrupt Decay for Springheart and Nantucko. So, Punchies? Opponent's going to go ahead and take it. We'll decay that before they get more landfall triggers. That's rough. So now my Force of Will is dead on Court of Calling. My opponent's attacking. Very surprised I didn't just see a Court of Calling for X equals 3 and floop the Nadu into play in a way that I have no say about. But it didn't happen. I think there's a very good chance that I'm just dead. Ooh, that can't be countered. Yeah, I was specifically thinking about Court of Calling for Endurance. That Allosaurus Shepherd royally screwed me over. Am I just dead to activation? 5, 8, 9. Not yet. I guess I play Tameo. I've played a land. I've not played a land. It is grayed out for some reason. This is Nomads into Nadu, and I am dead. Alright, we're out of here. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com, just the best place to keep your online deck lists, and the reason I say that is it just has so much functionality. So for example, let's take a look at some random legacy deck here. You can click on your various 2-drop slots and you can see what % chance you have of casting various things on curve, and you can get a breakdown of your mana symbols and all of that stuff, and there's a lot more here than just this. Consider checking it out. Alright, we can deal a decent amount of self-damage to hopefully get Death's Shadow online in the not-too-distant future. Basic Island. Opponent in all caps, Island Ponder Keep. Never heard that before in my life. I don't know what you're talking about. Brainstorm's fine. We'll do that in a minute. I'm always shocking. I get so little damage immediately for playing this. I think I'm just going to see what's going on over there. Well, there's not a lot going on. I think we just do this. I am not facing down any pressure from my opponent. Do I even want to brainstorm right now? Sure. I mostly just want to grow this to where it lives through Lightning Bolt. I'm going to put back land and put Fatal Push on top, and then I think I'll just pass. I'll keep Fatal Push on top for if my opponent plays a threat, and if they don't, I will just play Thoughtseize into a threat of my own on my turn. Snapcaster Mage. Opponent's deck is a little bigger than I was expecting. So then we're going to see the fetch to play the cantrip. Alright, do I want to be able to Fatal Push Snapcaster Mage? Not really. I don't know, I am going to turn on the Death Shadows pretty quickly anyway. If there's any Flame of Honor style bullshit, I do want to take Snapcaster off board. Alright. Get out. I'll fetch. I think I will shock again. Dismiss this. Thoughtseize you. Alright, it is Daze, Force of Will, Lightning Bolt. I think I will go ahead and take Daze from that. Fetch. Keep doing Watery Graves. Lima Death Shadow. It's a 6/6. It survives Lightning Bolt. Opponent has no manipulation here. And then I get to play triple threat next turn. Send it. Opponent is at 12. I will drop a Goyf. I will drop a Death Shadow. And I will drop Lightning Bolt fodder. Bolt face. Draw Snapcaster and Bolt. Bolt face. Burning Inquiry. That flips Tameo. Another Burning Inquiry. A Brainstorm. There's no red mana left for a Bolt. So my opponent is going to go down to 1 card. These shadows are 12/12s. Either shadow kills them. I believe they are no longer on any outs. Wander away. Why Burning Inquiry? Like, what is the strategic merit to that? I am 100% sure there is something if my opponent is doing this. So what's the plan? Is it Marktide Regent? Is it Goyfs? There's the new Shark. It's something Mako that when you, I think it's discard a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. I don't know that Hollow Ones make sense. There's Mystic Sanctuary, the Cling to Dust. I don't know. I think I just want to become more threat dense. I think based on what I'm seeing, I am less interested in the cards that look like this, and more interested in the cards that look like this. Straight up, I wonder if I Leyline of the Void my opponent. I don't know what the unfair thing is. Like, I don't know if we are Turbo Murktide Regents or what. It's possible Leyline of the Void is good enough to play against my opponent. I really don't know. As of right now, that's my 8 for 8, and then I'm thinking about Thoughtseize versus Leyline of the Void. If I discard a Leyline of the Void, it grows my Goyfs. So that's a thing. I really don't know on that one. Medium hand. I can't play an early threat, and I don't know that this stuff is great in the early game either. I think since I boarded in Leyline, I'll fish a little bit. Yeah, this is great. I'm going to keep this and get rid of the Fatal Push. Let's start with a Leyline in play. It'll be a little hard to tell how good that is. So we're going to lead on a ThrabenU, I think. If this just eats a Lightning Bolt or a Daze or whatever, I want to be able to play the other one successfully next turn. Yep. Second land drop and immediate Bowmasters. Unsure how I feel about the sorcery speed Bowmasters. Not saying that it is wrong, just legitimately unsure how I feel about it. Because if my opponent waited, they would have gotten a Delver off of it potentially. ThrabenU significantly less good into Bowmasters. Alright, there is a Daze. That is fine. That's land drop, and I can go ahead and block one of these. Take a little damage. Make my clue. I think it is worth just drawing. Bowmasters doesn't say you can't do the thing. Just makes it hurt. 15. I think since I'm about to take 3 more damage, I will just play a regular Delver here. I could just jam Death Shadow, I suppose. I don't think I'm going to do that. Play another Delver. A manipulation from our opponent. And a fetch to clear it. Alright, so here's Burning Inquiry. Oh, is it just Burning Inquiry Bowmasters? Is that all the payoff is? I lost my Death Shadow, unfortunately. I'm going to lose ThrabenU potentially to this attack. It's possible my opponent ignores it. I don't think they will, though. Alright, ThrabenU's dead. I'm facing down a decent amount of power. I need to find something to do here. I don't think just Bowmaster is enough synergy to play Burning Inquiry in Legacy, even if there are 4 Bowmasters. That's not what I'm looking for. That's fine. So I take 6, I'm at 5. I can kill the Orc Army token. Wasteland on Trop is really rough. They didn't do it, though. I think I hold this land. Wait, how many does Burning Inquiry draw? 3. I guess if Burning Inquiry happens, my opponent just kills me, but maybe I remove Bowmasters in a minute. Okay, I'll hold. Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower. I think that means I'm dead, right? I can remove this, take 4, go to 1. Then even if I get something like a lifelinker, Brazen Borrower just flies over that. Yeah. I think now that I've shown my opponent this, I'm going to make this swap back. It incentivizes them to change their deck to become less graveyard reliant when I'm just going to juke back into not having that card. Okay, I have some degree of decisions on turn 1 about what land I fetch. I think I am just going to grab a basic here, because my opponent has shown Wasteland, and I am working towards a 3-drop. That means that Abrupt Decay is worse. That means I'm a little bit further away from a Death Shadow. I think it's fine overall. I think I'm going to go ahead and cast some cantrips now. I'm pretty far away from Death Shadow, and I'm pretty far away from Abrupt Decay being good. Goyf will be outside of Lightning Bolt range. I'm still Dazeable. Always getting rid of that. I'm going to get rid of Watery Grave. Fetch. Pick up Watery Grave. And attempt to play a 3/4 creature. My spells resolved really quick last turn, so I don't think my opponent has Daze. At least not in their hand immediately. Yep, that's fine. Alright, Abrupt Decay came back. There's no sorcery in my graveyard yet? Ooh, yeah. Another Nethergoyf is fine. Bam, bam, bam. Use Ponder's ability. No. Let's attack with a 4/5 creature. Again, these are outside of Lightning Bolt range already. The opponent's at 16. I'll slam another one. It resolves. I have a 3rd Goyf for the following turn. Get some mana. Send in for 8. Opponent is at 8. This works against the Death Shadow, but 2 of these connecting is just lethal. Toxic Deluge, X equals 5, go to 1. That is a Murktide Regent. That is a 4/4. This is onboard lethal. Yeah. Yeah. So, Sultai Goyf's getting in there. We're a little bit away from Death Shadow. Like, we've got some negative synergy here, but good card is good. Nether Goyf swinging back and forth between being incredibly good and a little awkward. All right, my hand looks reasonable. We'll keep this. We've got 2 lands. We've got 2 Tamios. Deal a decent amount of self-damage to try to set up a Death Shadow. We are probably playing against something in the 8-cast overall ballpark here. I can Fatal Push that Emery on 1. Looks like it will be a good idea too. So in order to Fatal Push that, though, I do need Revolt, so we will fetch. I think despite the fact that I am playing against largely an aggro deck, I still do this. So goodbye, Emery. And now we have Force of Will plus Thoughtseize, and then can stick a Tamiyo after. Ooh, that's very good, because that dodges every piece of interaction that I have here. Stock up. I'm gonna say no to that. You don't get to do that. But if we could find that hypothetical Death Shadow, that would be cool. Aggressive play, conservative play that helps dig, and play that stops me from eating some of the worst case scenarios, like something like Ancient Tomb, the One Ring. I think I'm going to do the play that digs. I am definitely scared of just losing to this singular card. But I'm not done dealing damage to myself. The dream is that my opponent needed stock up to resolve to find the next land drop, and Urza Saga just sits here and does nothing. That is not reality, though. Ponder is probably better than cracking a clue. I have drawn 1 card. This will be card 2. Nope. That's a Delver. I am afraid. And these are both artifact lands. I'll play a Delver. I am not a happy camper. So this is a 3/3, soon to be a 4/4, soon to be a 5/5, potentially being attacked with 2 6-power creatures, depending on whether or not Shadow Spear is something that's happening over there. Yeah, we were so prepared to fight against most things that weren't Urza's Saga. So 2 5/5s, Ancient Tomb. That's fine. They're big. They're so big. I probably need to say no to that. So now, both of these get to attack. So I'm chump blocking with a Delver so I don't literally die. I'm still taking 6. I need to hit something like a Death Shadow here. I don't think Shadow's good enough anymore. Fuck, I'm just dead. Alright. That did not line up. It was a fucking One Ring, too. Absolute beating. And I don't have any crazy anti-artifact card in my sideboard. What did I just drag in? Oh, it's Consignment Memory. There we go. Okay, so 2 Consigns, 2 Bowmasters, probably another Decay, and then we can think about some of the mid-range value stuff. I don't think we want Leyline or Force of Negation. I think I'm going to get rid of Reanimate. What about Thoughtseize? I'm kind of trying to hit most of my stuff, my opponent's stuff, once it hits the board, but the One Ring, it's kind of a big deal to answer that before it hits play. Do I just need these as giant lifelinkers, and I go against this plan? I try to largely be a control deck. I just finish with Goyfs. That's okay. Trying to play the conservative clue game is a little harder when a lot of your lands deal you damage. I don't think I want to just turn Tamios into Sylvan Libraries, though. This is a reasonable mix of lands and spells that we can hope to do something. The basic island plus Abrupt Decay combo comes up again, though. Okay, my opponent kept on 6. I'm going to start on Underground Sea and Thoughtseize. I will be taking my opponent's stock up, and then their hand does not do an awful lot. I don't really even need Force of Will in the short term. Still going to be nice. Another bobble. My opponent will probably just cycle through both of those. No, they are going to keep one. New Thoughtseize? Sure. I get to take an Emery. My opponent has Seat and Dismember left. I will ponder. Yeah, this is fine. I'm okay with taking all of these cards. I'm going to take the Daze to pair with Force of Will on the off chance that something scary happens. And then I have Tamiyo to play out next turn. And then I'll hit my third land drop the following turn. And then there will be some question about whether or not it is actually worth it to protect the Tamiyo. Fuck this Urza Saga card. I am so covered against everything that is not Urza's Saga. Ah! I mean, I'm playing Tamiyo. And now I probably Force of Will Dismember. Ooh, opponent did not Dismember. There's Seat. Bobble's fine. So, Delta. Combat. Go get my clue. Pass here. Intend on using my mana for Fatal Push plus cracking clue token. On the off chance that Pithing Needle happens here. Drop. Drop is fine. Opponent is going for mana. I will Fatal Push that token. Alright, that's honestly not too bad. Thoughtseize. Nice. I can send in, get my clue. Let's just throw this into play. 6/7 lives through Dismember. And I have Force of Will backing this up quietly. Absolutely. I wonder if my opponent being too conservative with Dismember on this Tamiyo results in me just digging 1 or 2 cards deeper that results in a win. Ooh, so when they crack that Bobble, they're actually shrinking their constructs. Force of Will, Pitch Daze. Alright. Opponent does not attack. So now I get to be kind of cute. So I will Thoughtseize you. And if you want to cast this Dismember to try to fog a Goyf attack, you can do so right now at the cost of 4 life. But then I can just Abrupt Decay this token like I was going to do anyway. And I will still get in this turn. Ooh, my opponent is a Painter's Servant deck. I will be taking stock up, though. So, fetch. I need black mana right now. This is Watery Grave. Black and green. Go to Punchies. This is only accomplishing 1 damage. I will mill 1 card. It's a Bowmaster. Lol. Seems good. Emery's great. Emery 1 ring, pretty sick combo. An opponent can play Painter afterwards. My Bowmaster is pretty sick here against like the 1 ring. Holy Goyfs. So send it. Opponent goes to 9. Yes. This is a 1/2. Okay. So I will pick up a second Bowmasters. So Bowmaster, target Emery. Bowmaster, target Emery. And now we're in pretty good shape. And we put the W on board. Yeah, but we sure don't have any sort of Null Rod effect in this deck, which apparently would be pretty good. Does anything change now that I specifically know that my opponent is Painter? Now that I know that Stock Up and the 1 ring are there, I could go deeper on Force of Negation. Cards that are in my deck are pretty respectable. I could swap out Nethergoyf for Shadow again. My opponent's a little less aggressive than I thought. This is fine. This is a fine opening hand that's very variable in how it plays out. Like this one is just fully responsive to what my opponent does. Like I would love to play Tamiyo on 1 and get that going, but sometimes my opponent just drops an Emery on 1 and that's not actually possible. Hey, it's an Emery on 1. Into the flood. No, that's the bounce one. Yeah. And it looks like we're cycling at least 1 bobble. Both bobbles. You've got it. The opponent will go back up to 4 cards. I've got Force of Will to protect my stuff now. Just confirming I don't have Death Shadow in here anymore. I don't. I think this is Underground Sea then. Let's take out an Emery. This has to be the play. This means that I don't have Consign to Memory available for this turn. I have other counter spells available, so that's okay. Opal is fine. Gold Guide Lantern is fine. It does turn on Mox Opal, but this counts both graveyards, so I think this is overall fine. So I'm going to, I think, hold up Consign to Memory for this next turn cycle. The One Ring could just very easily happen. All right, we are just cycling. I can Bowmaster then. I have Force of Will for the One Ring, so I think that's okay. Ooh, a Force of Will back. This is a weird one. I kind of don't want to fight so that I can Force a Will a One Ring that happens and then just throw this on the board, be comfortable tapping out, potentially. I think I let that happen despite the fact that Bowmaster is great. Bobble's fine. Cycling. And since my opponent has a bunch of cards that look like that, that's why they want to fight over Bowmaster aggressively. Abrupt Decay is an okay pickup. I'm going to deal damage to myself for some flexibility here, I think. So yeah, this is a 4/5. This is technically dismemberable. Dodged. Land drop. Sink into Stupor. Do I just want to untap with this? Yeah, but I'm going to let my opponent have their tempo play. Like, that costs them a card, and all it costs me is one Goyf trigger. Oh my gosh, it is incredibly windy outside. It's crazy. I don't know if any of the, like... Something just struck my house. Hold on. Yeah, so that was a shutter blowing off of my windows. I was correct that it was windy. Wow. Okay. That's Future Phil's problem. 3 mana, Legend Rule Mox Opal. So that is a stock up. I mean, I'm not going to let you resolve that. Fetch Tamiyo. This is now a 5/6. We're going to bash on in for 5. Nice. Yes. Another one. It's probably not correct to play that, despite the fact that it kills my opponent next turn. I think I'll just drop a Delver and call that good enough. Hold up Consign, which stops the One Ring, which is about the scariest thing that can happen here. I'm a genius. Boop. So, we want to guaranteed flip Delver here. Nice. I will put back Tamiyo. I'll flip Delver to Abrupt Decay. By putting Tamiyo back, I guaranteed have something that I hit here. Oh, it says woof, GG's. Yeah. Because I played a little bit conservatively in not expending resources on protecting this from the bounce and aggressively playing around the One Ring, which was the disaster card, I ended up being in a very dominating position as that game went on. GG's. Okay. Opening hand is a little more land heavy than I would like, honestly. Opponent's got Island Ponder. Lots of that today. And Shuffle this time. I think we're just going in on the painful stuff here and getting going with Delver. What are you doing? Are you a stock up deck? Are you a fair blue deck? Also, how much of a pain in the butt is it going to be to put my shutters back on my house? Hopefully not very much. There's the fetch to clear. It's Underground Sea and Tamiyo, which I can Fatal Push, so this is fine. I don't think I am trying to flip this immediately. We'll flip it immediately. So, land drop. I think I Fatal Push around Daze? I don't know, maybe I thought Seas first. Then hard counterspell doesn't beat me. It is Daze. Awkward, so I give my opponent a clue, and then answer Tamiyo next turn. Oh, so. I guess there's also the world where I don't attack with Delver and incentivize them to go for the throw dit. This is fine. Underground Sea. You get your clue. Can I get my opponent to use their days on this brainstorm? / do I want to? Alright, you got it. There's a Watery Grave. Please don't let the one unknown card be brainstorm. Nice. So then fetch. Watery Grave. Fetch. Breeding Pool. Yes, Shadow. It is a 3/3 for now, but it's a 5/5 next turn. Yeah, which is fine. It's possible that I should have just made it a 2/2 and not used both fetch lands to be able to fetch away Undercity Sewers. Thinking about it a little bit more. Alright, opponent's got a brainstorm of their own, which almost certainly means that their daze is going bye-bye. Wow, we are stock up Mystic Sanctuary deck. New Tameo. Alright. Alright. Well, that's not great, honestly. So let's do some work here. Reanimate? Delver over here. Tameo over there. Death's Shadow that could come back in a minute. I'll put back Daze, Undercity Sewers, use Ponder to shuffle, pick up a Tameo. Am I making this a 5/5 and crashing in? Probably taking 4 from another Goyf attack. I'm probably taking 1 from a reanimate. I don't know that I need to take any more damage than that. Alright. I'll leave myself with the option to take damage in a minute. So I know my opponent's card is Go for the Throat. We'll see which one of these they hit. It is the Death Shadow, as I predicted. I'm going to take 4 from this. I'm at 6. That's not bad. I will reanimate Death's Shadow, go to 5. This now deals with Nethergoyf. I will get my clue. I will get rid of my opponent's Tameo. I think I'm going to play this as a tapped land and pass the turn. Yep. And I can either crack a clue at the end of my opponent's turn or double crack clues to flip a Tameo if I think that's going to be better. So my opponent goes through their clue. I am not dead if my opponent removes Death's Shadow. I go to 1 though. Probably means that I am just cracking this. Alright, not what I'm looking for. So if my opponent has it, Bowmaster Ping does kill me. Land is not doing it. This is tight. I am going to play to win here and go for the redraw off the clue rather than the chump block off of Tameo. The Delver of Secrets. That's a chump block for a turn. Not dead yet. That bounces Mystic Sanctuary, unfortunately. Is not something that I want to see. It makes chump blocking much harder. We knew that was coming, though, because the Brainstorm from a couple turns back never shuffled. So now, presumably, my opponent just puts either Go for the Throat or stock up on top of their deck. They're going for Go for the Throat. Play to win. Attack with Tameo. I don't lose if I play Delver. Because they Go for the Throat one, I chump block with the other, but I'm not making any progress, so nothing ventured, nothing gained, or something like that. Blue. Draw. Brainstorm. This will flip Tameo. Okay. Set this up to flip Delver. 1 and 2. Plus with Tameo. Cast Delver. Cast Death's Shadow. No! Now I'm dead. Third card down is Daze. Nothing changes. Yeah, I'm dead. Yes. Now, are you going to try to kill me? Yes, because you don't kill Tameo. Just in case I'm missing something. Yep, don't have the mana to kill that. Dead. Great game. So, stock up and Goyfs and Tameo in blue-black tempo-y nonsense. I think I'm going to be looking at going down some amount of this stuff. The Abrupt Decays are going to feel really good here. The ability to answer the backside of Tameo is probably a big deal. I would love to Daze stock up. I don't think I want to be 2-for-1ing myself with Force of Will, despite the fact that some of my opponent's cards are going to be very strong. Then I'm going to keep 1 of Daze and Thoughtseize. Games are going to go so long, and Daze is going to get worse and worse. But dazing an initial stock up at 3 mana is a pretty big deal. I think I am going to keep Daze. I mean, Delver got a Delver, right? Delver with Daze backup, some cantrips to follow. This is fine. Here we go. Take 2, the Delver. And we may end up recycling this Watery Grave a couple of times. I think since I'm not making my next land drop, I could just do this. But let's let it happen. I'm not going to force a Delver flip here. It happens anyway. I'll get my 3 damage, which is perfect. I don't want to Brainstorm lock myself, so I think I'm going to Ponder this turn. Oh, those cards are good. Yeah, I'll take all of those. Let me go ahead and shock in the breeding pool in respect for the Death Shadow that is in my hand. My opponent is chilling. I'll go ahead and go to punchies. I will punchy. I guess I should have brainstormed before my opponent got to 2 mana and threatened Bowmasters. I could have played a Goyf this turn. It is Bowmasters, which I think I am just going to Abrupt Decay or Fatal Push. Probably Fatal Push. And I'll, I guess, do it immediately while my opponent doesn't have Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm type cards available. I want to do this now. It makes my own dazes dazable. I'll take 1 from an Orc here. And it might be stock up time. It is stock up time. I'm going to return the breeding pool. Yeah. Or mana efficiency. I'm going to cast this here. Gives my opponent a chance to daze something. Ooh, those cards are not good. I'll put a Watery Grave back into my deck. Redraw Delta. I will be able to play a Death Shadow on my turn around daze. Opponent is at 10. Fetch. Regrab a Watery Grave. Drop Shadow. It's a 3/3. It'll be a 5/5 when it attacks. I do have the Shadow plus Lifelinker combo going on, but hopefully that doesn't matter. Opponent's still got 4 cards, though, so there's some real degree of fear here. Oh, that dodges Decay. That's a 5/5. Okay. Alright, I see what you're cooking. Watery Grave is not what I am looking for. Game got a lot tougher. We're going in. Going in! See how my opponent wants to do it. I think you just chump. My opponent went for both blocks, which is not what I wanted. My Death Shadow is still alive. I'm going to accept that. Now we play a combo. Damn it. Why was I right? I was hoping I was wrong. So there is this thing where if my opponent hits me with the Murktide Regent, my Death Shadow is fucking huge on the crackback. So if they try to leave back Tamiyo, I Abrupt Decay that Tamiyo and I win. This game is very tense. Damn it, that's 2 blockers. Fuck. Alright, another removal spell off the top, please. I'm at 2. Death Shadow is an 11/11. And they can get another card here. That is a Tamiyo. So I attack with Death Shadow. My opponent chump blocks. I use Tamiyo to block Murktide. And potentially Abrupt Decay something else afterwards. I go to 1 if a Bowmaster or an Orc Army token hits me. Okay. Sure. That is expected. I play Tamiyo. Now this is mana for Abrupt Decay on one of these 2, but I don't think I can do it now. I think I play Watery Grave tapped in case I need to do multiple things next turn. I am dead to removal spell on Tamiyo. Murktide gets me. Fuck. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Sheriff has indeed been shot. Great game. Okay. And doesn't really do anything. Like, I can turn to Brainstorm and try to fix it, but I just have no plan whatsoever here. This has a plan of reanimate my opponent's creature. It's a sketchy plan, but I think there is at least a direction for this hand, and I can deal a lot of self-damage and potentially Brainstorm into a Death Shadow. I like this one a lot better, despite the fact that this is a little narrow and can backfire. Watery Grave. Thoughtseize. So, this is awkward. I'm going to take Chalice of the Void, but I'm not happy about how the rest of this plays out. I just completely fold 2 Chalice of the Void, just in terms of deck construction. Remember my 2 columns worth of 1-drops? It's not fucking happening. So instead, since my opponent has Lotus Petal plus Soul Land, they get to Glaring Fleshraker on 1 into Kozilek's Command on 2. I can take that Kozilek's Command. I wonder if they slow their roll to Cavern. That would be very good for me. Battle resolves. Yeah, they're going to slow their roll to Cavern. That's so good for me. Polluted Delta. I could Brainstorm and then Thoughtseize, which I think I will do. Force of Will doesn't have anything blue to pair with it. Fatal Push is solid. I'm going to put back this Breeding Pool. I will fetch with Polluted Delta, and I think just get an Underground Sea. And I will Thoughtseize you. Since my opponent didn't respond by casting Kozilek's Command, I can take Kozilek's Command and then Fatal Push Glaring Fleshraker next turn. That's pretty good. I probably don't want to reanimate Glaring Fleshraker. I just don't get to take advantage of that. Cool. There was no Sowing Microspawn off the top to make me tilt into oblivion. Tropical Island, not what I want here. So I'm going to fetch and I think Surveil. Delver. Yeah, okay. Delver to Graveyard. Fatal Push with Revolt on Glaring Fleshraker. Reanimate on Delver of Secrets. So now whatever happens off the top, that's in Karanos' hands. There's the eye. It is another Glaring Fleshraker. So, yeah, I will reveal a Reanimate. It's not super good here, but I will reveal it. Opponent's at 17. I'm going to reanimate a Glaring Fleshraker. It costs me 3 life this turn, but keeps Glaring Fleshraker from attacking in the future. Opponent says, can I take the Minotaurs anyway? I changed my mind. Alright, Thought-Knot Seer happens. So I'm going to take some damage from these colorless creatures entering, obviously. But now if I get rid of Thought-Knot Seer, I get to draw a card. I need a powerful threat here. There's an Ancient Tomb as another land drop. I wonder if you attack there. Like, I know that I am at 6, and bleeding me out is a very real win condition, but if you attack here and I trade, I can never double block Thought-Knot Seer the following turn, which is currently my plan. So I'm now on the defensive versus a deck that can very easily burn me out. Oh, good God. Gaia's Cradle is a big burst there, and that's a very real reason to not attack with Glaring Fleshraker the previous turn. So, I have Ugin. I can just straight up get another Glaring Fleshraker, or just a Sowing Microspawn to start going down that rabbit hole next turn. It is Thought-Knot Seer, and I do not have... I guess I shouldn't yield to this turn. I lose Force, and then I go to 4. And this is probably just too much, unless my rips are just absolutely perfect. It's probably valid to just pass the turn and not attack. Like next turn when you can attack with both Thought-Knot Seers at the same time, it's scarier, I think. So I just have to run hot here. So I'm going to trade 2 cards for Thought-Knot Seer in an attempt to draw a relevant card. I did not. I mean, Death Shadow is massive, but I die to the attack from 2 creatures. This is probably a very bad matchup for me. So I want Consign, I want Abrupt Decay, I want the Lifelinkers. My counterspells are not great. I am going to eat Cavern of Souls. I have 33 1-drops in my deck. I need to keep some number of counterspells in respect of Chalice of the Void, though. I think I'm going to get rid of my Reanimates as step 1. Are my Nethergoyfs on average larger than my opponent's things? They might not be. I just lean real hard on this, finishing my opponent. I could go down Tamiyo's somewhat reasonably. I think I'm going to go down Thoughtseizes on the draw. I could keep them on the play. Chalice is bad. Sowing Microspawn, also a disaster. I'll go down some Tamiyo's on the play. This is eyeballing this, making my blue count a little lower than I would like. Multiple Dazes. I'm going to say that that makes this keepable. The Nethergoyf Abrupt Decay situation is a little weird in terms of my mana here, because I want to be able to daze. I think I'm just going to Underground Sea here. I have Ugin. Probably means no immediate turn 1 play, meaning that I can hard cast a daze. That's happening. A little awkward though. Sowing Microspawn is a fucking piece of shit magic card. And it is possible that for not dazing that Lotus Petal, I just get wastelanded out of this game next turn. Ancient Tomb. Grim Monolith. Awkward. Resolves. Yep. Daze looking so bad here. Thought-Knot Seer. Annoying? I could try to find a Force of Will for that. This is a really big deal. I'm gonna respond to that. Kozilek's Command. Do I care about this getting exiled? Not that much. I care more about my opponent drawing a card. I can't double daze. My opponent does have Lotus Petal. So that's happening. That was top. Did not find an answer to Thought-Knot Seer. And awkwardly found a tapped land. I think I'm going to bury a daze that I will surveil into my graveyard and hide this. And then this stuff resolves. The threat of looming sowing Mycospawn is also just horrifying. That can still happen. Maybe even this turn. My opponent has something like a Glaring Fleshraker or Spirit Guide sowing Mycospawn. That stuff can still happen. Okay, I have lost my Tameo. But otherwise made it through the turn. This could have been worse, honestly. So do this. Get rid of this extra daze. Play Delver. My opponent can now play around Daze, which is actually good for me because I don't want to cast Daze. Here's the 3-drop that I've been wiggling towards. Let's see if I lose 2 land drops to on-cast triggers. I am just dead if the answer is yes. Just immediate right-click, concede, no agency. Oh shit! Yeah, it is a 3rd Daze. So there might be another Kozilek's command coming, which would not bring joy. I am so happy this happened, because now I get to play the thing that is bigger than Thought-Knot Seer. Good card is good. That is a Glaring Fleshraker for 1 mana. Do I want to daze this? The follow-up is less good. I don't think so. We're chilling. Okay. Now the double block scenarios are less bad for me. Do I want to play this pre-combat in case I need to daze in combat? I think so. It's a little weird, though, because I might, in theory, hit my opponent and return some things. Yeah. All right, we are doing the double block, and this is fine. This is going to kill both of them. Death Touch is a thing. I get to draw a card, the Watery Grave, which I will play tapped. Don't need to hurt myself here. We are trying to make the life totals go up as of right now. And this is just fully what cards does my opponent draw off the top of their library, and does Double Daze beat that? Double Daze probably not beating Ancient Tomb here. I could Double Daze to take my opponent's Lotus Petal, which is their green mana for sowing Mycospawn. Or I could just hold these in an attempt to get my opponent after Ancient Tomb becomes a little sketchier. I think that is unfortunately resolving. The big thing that can happen is my opponent could draw something like Thought-Knot Seer. I guess I could Double Daze that. Alright, I'm unhappy. No immediate play. That's not the end of the world. So my opponent has protection from everything this turn. They take 1 off their One Ring, and then get to draw some cards. Absolutely not. That is just too much. There might be something scarier that follows this up, but I don't think that I can let that happen. That is a kicked sowing Mycospawn. That's not great. So targeting a swamp. I wonder if I daze sowing Mycospawn here to make my opponent tap an Ancient Tomb to make that body resolve. This might be the point that I do that. Hold on. Do I alt cast Daze to return Undercity Sewers to hand? No, I'm probably about to be wastelanded. No, I'm probably about to be wastelanded. So daze that. Alright, they are gonna pay. Alright, now whatever happens, happens. A Goyf connection is lethal, counting this. Sowing Mycospawn does not eat it to Abrupt Decay, though. I guess there's some timelines where I don't get wastelanded because my opponent is worried about their Ancient Tombs, and they could just pick up like a Yavimaya or a City of Traders instead. In which case, returning Undercity Sewers to hand is interesting. Brainstorm. Alright, I'm in. I have no way to get Revolt this turn, and we're a very long way away from Death Shadow. Oh, wait, hold on. I can play Death Shadow, have it die, and then Fatal Push. That's kind of hilarious. Yeah, okay. Thinking with portals. Get them. Oh, we have gotten the nice from the opponent. You have a Kozilek's command? Kozilek's command bails you out. Oh, okay. Well, that's a line I've never taken. I think I was saying that on the draw, I was probably going to get rid of Thoughtseize. I might play an extra Force of Negation on the draw in respect of Chalice of the Void. Even after I go down, I still have 25 1-drops. Still like Reanimate in the board there. My life total didn't go down very much that game. Still think I want Death Shadow to help stabilize the board. I'm going to play Bowmasters here. Do I not want a Tamiyo? Maybe I don't want to Tamiyo. It's a lot of mana in a Sowing Mycospawn world. I play a couple of Thoughtseizes to round things out. They're a little worse if Chalice of the Void happens, but I guess Tamiyo's the same way. Tamiyo's a blue card for the force effects, though. How am I doing on blue cards? Not bad. I don't know, I could see these last couple of slots going other ways. I could also see not playing Abrupt Decay. It's a little awkward on the mana in the Sowing Mycospawn world. I don't know if this wins. Feels like it doesn't. So I have turn 1 Delver, I have turn 2 Abrupt Decay, something like a Glaring Fleshraker or a Grim Monolith. I'm not Stone Cold Dead to Chalice. I'm not the happiest about this, though. The ETB tapped land is not optimal. I can't play Island Delver if I want to Abrupt Decay on 2, so that means both of these lands are committed in my first 2 turns, making a Ponder or Brainstorm that follows up potentially worse. I don't know, maybe play Delver, get lucky is a plan. Straight up Wasteland and Chalice on 1. I have Abrupt Decay for that. So normally this is where you surveil land for value. I think I am going to surveil land under the assumption that my opponent wastelands me, but then doesn't get to do anything cool in the short term. With 3 lands in hand, I can get rid of that land, even if I'm getting wastelanded. This is quite a statement, right? Like running my non-basic land into wasteland and following it up with Polluted Delta, like 2 graveyard. So I need my green mana, which means Breeding Pool. And I'll go ahead and pass the turn here. We've got Abrupt Decay for this Chalice. And hopefully we don't run into fucking Sowing Mycospawn. Alright, none of that is green mana. Thought-Knot Seer is very strong. I absolutely need to kill Chalice of the Void in response to that. And then my opponent's big creature resolves. And then things get a little more interesting. I imagine I probably lose Undercity Sewers to Wasteland. I am not sure what my opponent takes off of this trigger. It's not Delver of Secrets. That's the worst of these 3. Brainstorm is the highest upside one, but Nethergoyf could outclass Thought-Knot Seer in the not too distant future. And so a lot of this then depends, like, what is my opponent's plan? If they are trying to resolve something that is already in their hand, taking my Brainstorm is good. But if they are planning on turning that Thought-Knot Seer sideways, taking Nethergoyf is good. Alright, Nethergoyf gone. I am not getting wastelanded, so we are going to set 2 Delvers up to flip, and hope that that works. I mean, unless I just brick on all instants and sorceries here. I did not. Ooh, Fatal Push. Am I fine drawing Fatal Push next turn to answer Thought-Knot Seer? I think so. I need to play Basic Island this turn, and I need to save a fetch land. So these 4 cards are spoken for. Let's bury Death's Shadow and keep some extra land. Yeah. Delver and Delver. Alright, we might be in Kicked Sowing Mycospawn territory. It is a Kozilek's command instead. That is 3 on top. That's horrifying. Glaring Fleshraker for 1 mana. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to take 4 here. Glaring Fleshraker and Thought-Knot Seer are both problems in different ways. Delver flips here. I need my Revolt either way. I think I am killing Thought-Knot Seer to get a redraw. So I think I'm going to be a little cheeky here. I think I'm going to fetch, hold priority. My fetch land is already in the graveyard. And I think I'm going to Fatal Push Thought-Knot Seer now, get my redraw, and then determine what to do with my land based on that. Nice. Okay. So that gave me incredibly relevant information, actually. Because now I know that I want to Watery Grave, Shock, so that I can put in Death's Shadow. By no means am I a cantrip master, but we've done some things that make me look smart this league. There have been some cool interactions that don't come up a lot. Opponent's now in kind of a weird spot. Blast Zone is interesting. That's some bullshit. I'm gonna go to 9. I have a 3/4 Nethergoyf as a follow-up. Opponent's continuing to be very conservative with this Wasteland, which we'll see how that ends up shaking out for them. I have an active Consign to Memory. I think I am not favored in this position, but one Goyf or something puts me in an okay spot. Yep, that is Sowing Mycospawn. So we're going to go ahead and replicate this. We're going to replicate this twice. Target Glaring Fleshraker, and then target Sowing Mycospawn. Alright, we cleanly traded for Sowing Mycospawn. Lucky. I don't have another Surveil land. So we're just goifing it up. Turn dudes sideways, hope it works. Opponent's at 10. Got 2 3/4s. I get outsized by something like a Thought-Knot Seer. Taking Ancient Tomb damage. That is a Kozilek's command. That's not good. That probably means that I just die from Glaring Fleshraker direct damage. Even ignoring the Glaring Fleshraker damage, 6 chump blockers is really rough for my Goyfs that don't have evasion here. Triggers, I'm at 3. Another Glaring Fleshraker. I am at 1. Any other spell kills me. And my opponent still has a card in hand. Yeah, Dismember even kills me because I just take 2 combat damage. Rough. GG's. We put a couple wins onto the board, though. Alright. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Fine, honestly. But it's a deck list that's fine in a world of superb decks. There are some little things here about the deck that are just wrong. The second basic island is very much a no-go for this deck when you are trying to play Abrupt Decay. I wish I had caught that before I started recording. Sylvan Library was something that was in the sideboard for the grindier matchups, and I played it in a couple of rounds, but generally speaking, that sat there in the sideboard. I think that means that you just shouldn't be bug. The generic blue-black shell is just so good by itself that if you're splashing and making your mana worse for 5 cards, I don't know that it's worth it. I think the original deck list had, I think John's deck list had a couple of Berserks in there as well, to be kind of a cute way to just one-shot your opponent with Death Shadow. I did not think that was worth it. I took those out of the deck pretty quickly. You could play something like Carpet of Flowers in the sideboard as well. But outside of cracking Tameo clues, I don't actually think we're all that good at spending the bonus mana. This was a time where we randomly boarded out giant chunks of the deck. Like, I boarded in these 5 creatures in most rounds. Unfortunately, the Legacy world that we live in is kind of like, play good cards, synergy doesn't matter as much. So despite the fact that I am like this self-damage Death Shadow deck list, like, big scary Goyf did big scary Goyf things in a lot of rounds and just carried games once we reached the mid game and plan A didn't work. We weren't a particularly good Tameo deck, I will say that. Maybe that should have just been Stalactite Stalker or Dalthy Voidwalker or main deck Bowmasters or some other insert X aggressive option. The deck was fine. It's rough around the edges, and I don't think it is on the same power level as a lot of the other decks that we were facing, but play patterns were pretty fun. I had some really cool lines available to me today. So I think overall I am going to give this a thumbs up. This is a fine starting point if you want to do something like this, but I do have the recommendation, like, if you want to approach this further, swap out the green removal and green card advantage for stuff that is just in blue-black, and you'll probably have a good time. Alright folks, that's all I've got for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and if you need some cards, you know where to go. I'm gonna go see if any new cards have been spoiled for Dark Year Dragonstorm, because this set is sweet. See ya!